The book of Genesis isn't a collection of Sunday school moral lessons. It's a 2,000-year forensic report on why human nature is fundamentally broken. Genesis starts with a garden, but it ends in a coffin. Most people think the story of Adam and Eve is about a piece of fruit. It's actually about the birth of shame. The moment they reached for autonomy, they didn't find freedom. They found a sudden, paralyzing need to hide. And God doesn't just exile them. He watches as that internal shame evolves into something much darker. Look at Cain. He didn't just kill his brother because of a rejected sacrifice. He killed him because he couldn't handle the psychological weight of his own inadequacy. The first family became the first crime scene, but the violence didn't stop with a single stone. It scaled. By the time we get to Noah, the earth isn't just sinful, it's functionally broken. So God hits the reset button with a flood. A total planetary wipe. Noah steps off the ark onto a clean slate. But here's the psychological truth no one talks about. You can wash the earth, but you can't wash the human heart. Within chapters, Noah is drunk and shamed by his own son. The new world looks exactly like the old one. The descendants of Noah didn't learn humility. They learned ambition. They built Babel. This wasn't just a construction project. It was a psychological rebellion against the idea of needing a creator. God scattered them. He introduced the ultimate barrier, language. But scattering humans didn't fix the heart. It just moved the problem to different zip codes. Then the story zooms in. God picks one man, Abraham. Everyone calls him the father of faith. But the text shows a man who lied about his wife twice because he was terrified of being killed. Abraham's life is a masterclass in divine pressure. God promises a son, but he makes him wait 25 years. So Abraham tries to help God by having a child with a servant. This created a fracture in his family that still echoes in the Middle East today. But the pressure peaked at the mountain. God asks for the son, the only son, the promise. Abraham climbs the hill with a knife. Some scholars believe this was the ultimate test of whether Abraham loved the gift or the giver. But the trauma remains. The pattern continues through Isaac and Jacob. Jacob is a sociopath by modern standards, a professional con artist who stole his brother's identity for a blessing. But he's the one God chooses. The holy line is built on a foundation of deception and family trauma. Jacob's sons then sell their own brother, Joseph, into slavery. They tell their father he's dead. They live with that lie for 13 years. Joseph rises to power in Egypt, not because he was lucky, but because he was the only one who learned how to process trauma without passing it on. When his brothers show up begging for food, the cycle finally hits a wall. Joseph chooses grace. Genesis isn't a book about heroes. It's a case study in how humans repeatedly choose self-destruction, and how God repeatedly chooses to stay in the room. Because the story isn't about what humanity should be. It's about how much grace it takes to love what we actually are. Genesis ends with a family reunited but trapped in a foreign land. But the peace wouldn't last. Next time, the man who spent 40 years preparing for a job interview with God, then tried to quit on the spot. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it.